Hi, Virgo. Welcome to Leo season, August. Okay, we just had one flip over. What was it? Okay, Ace of Swords. I know that a lot of you have been waiting for a moment of clarity or an opportunity to say something to someone. I think a lot of you are ready for a lack of fogginess up here. Because, let's be honest, right? Neptune in Pisces, it really does impact you, right? It's your opposite. And Neptune, plus we're in a kind of 12th house activity, which is ruled by Neptune. So there's a lot of this Neptunian thing. So this clarity is a real welcome energy. And it's like, okay, I know what I need to say. I know how I feel. I know exactly how to articulate this in a way that someone can understand. I know how to get from point A to point B. And I love this kind of lack of questions. And I don't think you're necessarily dwelling in questions. If you find yourself in a questiony kind of place, it's probably just your mind making excuses for things. But when you stop the excuses, I think you know exactly what you need to do. You know exactly what you need to say. So let's start the month out with a bang, yeah? Let's get this off our shoulders, get this off our chest, or maybe someone needs to come and do the same thing to us. That's fine. Either way, it's like, let's just get it in the open. No hidden secrets, no hidden agendas. Let's just be real with it. Let's just be real. Tell me like what it is. And, with the Leo quality, it's kind of a bring it on quality. Like, yeah, I can handle it. Bring it on. Okay, well, yeah, you're going to need it for sure. Some of you may actually be creating the tower. You may actually approach someone and tower moment them, or tower moment your relationship or your friendship or whatever, because I don't know, that Ace of Swords thing is probably something big enough. And I think what it is you creating space. Right? You're creating space for something better, for something bigger. It's not about releasing things or letting things go, that which does not serve. Really, it's more about okay, I want better stuff. I want a better relationship. And it's more about the manifestation stuff, setting the intentions for the new things, and not a lot of remorse and not a lot of emotion toward the things that are waning. I don't think Virgo's feeling sad by this tower. In fact, I think many of you are feeling a sense of relief. Some of you, the tower is just going to happen. The opportunity is just going to fall into your lap. And you're going to be like, oh, okay, cool. Let's do it. Yeah, let's tower moment this thing. I think some of you were getting a little, you're getting a little tired of the ominous ivory tower anyway. You were getting tired of your own patterns. You were getting tired of your own sort of things. And so it's so welcome. It's so needed. And it's almost like this breath of fresh air. And like I said, no questions. I don't see Virgo dwelling in questions. I don't see them dwelling in the ominous moonlight of where is this going? No. If you're in a relationship and it's not going where you want it to go, you're probably going to be like, okay, it's either going to go the way I need it to go, or I'm just going to get out. It's pretty black and white, pretty obvious, pretty clear. This is not a surprise because it came out for Leo as well, because that's 12th house, it carries over. You just know. And in the Leo reading, behind her, she had the Ace of Wands, and now here we have the Tower. Look, she knows exactly what to do with the things that come behind her. She knows exactly what to do with this Tower moment. The Tower moment is not something that happens to you. It's something that happens for you, so that you can take the opportunity and generate something so much more positive and so much more warm and inviting and wonderful into your life. Queen of Swords, she can operate with no mercy when she needs to, but I think there's a quality of grace coming through, in light of the harshness probably of the swords in the Tower. There's a empathic, compassionate thing. So if you have to Tower moment someone else, and you have to be real honest with someone else, I think you're going to do it with a very soft blow. Real diplomatic, real kosher, really in a way that isn't going to completely sever anything, right? You keep the door open for possibility of growth and change. Let's say it that way. Keeping the door open for growth and change. Because you never know how things evolve. So you're kind of giving yourself, it's almost as though you're taking a canvas that's full of color, and you're taking some white paint and just like priming the whole thing, right? Just prime the whole thing, get it ready for all the new stuff, but you're not completely erasing the back of it either. It's still kind of there. But nothing's going to stop you from painting a new picture. Nothing. Oh, okay. 2 cards wanted to come out. Empress, and what was this one? Ooh, and the Emperor. Okay, well, there's a quality of togetherness. Okay, I'm not sure which one is you, which one's not you. You could actually be the perfect balance of both, if I'm being honest with you. This Emperor and Empress representing your masculine and feminine energy working real well together. This is kind of how they're coming out, which you'll see when I put the camera down. But I feel like the Tower is more associated with the Emperor, meaning that throne is probably not as stable as he thinks it is. And here we have the clarity. She's connecting significantly with the Queen of Swords energy, both Venus, right? Both Libra kind of energies. I see her looking at him though. I do. I see her looking at him. I see him looking forward. I think this is someone who's quite oblivious to certain things. In a way, Virgo, and I don't want you to get all arrogant about this, especially if you're cross-watching for a Virgo, they might come across like super holier than thou. But actually, I see this more as a teaching moment for the Emperor. When Virgo, you're going to have to get real with your Emperor person, male or female, doesn't matter. You almost kind of have to break down their illusions. And let's just say they're going to get real uncomfortable. They're just going to get real uncomfortable. So it is out of love, though. Because an Empress isn't going to do anything that's not out of love. Because she sees, like, what's the point of anything else, Obviously, there's a caring toward the Emperor. There is a nurturing spirit toward the Emperor. And there is no ill will or harm wished upon the Emperor. Virgo, if you're sitting in the chair of the Emperor and that's you, don't blame the messenger. I think there is a quality of truth coming through for you big time. And it's going to be good for you to just take a step back and receive whatever harshness is being sent your way and just breathe with it for a minute and ask yourself, like, are they right? Or are they really delivering some truth for me? And can this help me break down some of my barriers and help me not break down my barriers, but break through my barriers, right? It's not a good time to get defensive. It's not a good time to get defensive. So either side you're on, Empress or Emperor, doesn't matter. It's not a good time to be like trying to protect yourself. Listen to what's being said to you and listen between the lines, because I think that the Ace of Swords is going to be delivered in a real clear way. But I think there's a depth of meaning to everything too. I'm not going to tell you to like sit and ponder and be like, okay, well, if someone said this, well, then what really else could they be saying? You don't deal with that. Read between your own lines. Because the way that you're interpreting things says a lot about you. The way that you are like filtering says a lot about you. So there's a lot of opportunity for you, right? And there's a lot of opportunity for them. This could be potentially a relationship changing kind of deal. It doesn't matter what kind of relationship it is. I don't care if this Emperor is your boss, your husband, your wife, your father, your son, whatever, doesn't matter. Likely it's someone who's older than you though. Probably not your kid, probably someone who's older than you. Someone who is very set in their ways, right? Very set in their ways, like uncomfortably so. quite rigid with the way that they, like, so convinced that they are so right. I don't think they're so right now. I don't. Really great people though, right? A real good person. And I think on some level, this person does want to be the best that they can be. The problem is, the problem with an emperor who has an arrogance issue or who's about to experience a tower moment, the problem is that this person got to be to the status of an emperor for a reason, right? They probably have a real good character to an extent. They have certain business acumen. They're really good with people. Like, they have all these really good qualities that have gotten them to where they are. So they're not used to being wrong. And that can be problematic because they pride themselves on, well, I can always improve. I can always get better. But so many of their choices have taken them so far, have taken them to such heights that they kind of have in the back of their mind, well, like, no, I really know what's best. And what the tower moment could represent might have nothing to do with their place in the world, but their spiritual place. Their place of maybe how they treat people or how they interact with people, that they just simply don't see. So I don't think that the tower has anything to do with worldly stuff. And that could be tough. Okay, let's see what else. My favorite card of bad habits and toxic patterns. Virgo, if you find yourself in a recurring thing, it's really time for you to get out. Like, it's just so played, right? It's just played. This is like, there's no winning. There's no winning, because you could tower moment someone and they could have like a moment of like inspiration, but it doesn't mean they're going to change. I really think this is you recognizing your own kind of stuff. Recognizing your hope, how much hope you've had in the past. You're really putting yourself in the driver's seat here. This is so excellent. You're really putting yourself in the driver's seat. You're putting yourself first. You are ensuring that no one else can impact you, even no matter how emotional they get, no matter how mean they get, no matter how whatever they get. You are getting yourself to a place where you just simply can't be rattled. Right? You're going on this whole flow of the global awakening, right? You're just allowing yourself to ascend higher and higher and higher. And the higher and higher you get, probably the more of these patterns you recognize within yourself. And it's just an opportunity for you to just get rid of it, to liberate yourself. That's what towers are great for. Liberation, The problem is that I think some like not so evolved Virgos are going to get trapped in the cycle of offering unnecessary criticism, of offering, judgments, projecting judgments. And that's their sort of cross to bear. If you're a Virgo and you're feeling like you want to project your hurt or your judgment onto someone else, just hold your tongue for a minute and really filter everything through and say, is this really what I want to say? Is this the most beneficial thing to say in this particular situation? Or can I say it in a better way that is more compassionate and doesn't make me, doesn't lesser me? Right? Doesn't lesser me. Doesn't bring me down. Make sure to keep yourself up on your throne, right? High up in your seat of awareness. Make sure before you spit fire at somebody, because honestly, this is a big deal. It is. It's a big deal and it can be hurtful, but you can say hurtful things in a not hurtful way. Does that make sense? Like, you can offer truth, but be compassionate too. Some people are really good at it. I know I'm not so good at it, but if you're aware of it, it'll be okay. See, and I think it will be okay. Oh, Venus coming through your 12th house. And then later on, It's going to be entering into your sign too. So I think you're feeling like the buildup of this Venus energy. And because of that, you're going to be feeling quite lovely and you may be attracting people. So while all this Tower Emperor thing is going on, you may be drawing in new people, new friends, new coworkers, new love interests, new whatever. Some of you may be hitting your head against the wall, right? 5 of Swords with the Emperor, and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to go start dating because I don't want to waste my value on someone who's not hearing, on someone who doesn't care to really make adjustments. There is this quality this month, especially with Leo Virgo, where you're not willing to settle for scraps. That's the word that keeps coming to my mind, is like, don't settle for scraps. You know, like they can go to the junkyard to the people who are buying the scraps, you know, like you're not one of them. I don't think the Empress is sitting in a junkyard. You know what I mean? So if that's what they're trying to do, then you can, you know, just pass and it'll be fine because you've got options. Knight of Cups, you definitely have options. I think you're feeling quite romantic, actually. And I think that's what you want, is like romance. You want someone, it doesn't even need to be like a romantic relationship, but just the romance of life. You want the sparkle, Leo season. You want the sparkle. You want the kind of like feeling special and feeling seen. See, one of the problems that I have with the Emperor and also the King of Swords is there's no directionality. He's not looking anywhere but straight. And so it's almost as though he's so focused on himself that in spite of a really high quality person right next to him, quite literally, directed towards him, right, leaning in towards him, knees pointing there, ready to give, there's this quality of I don't need it or I don't want it. And that can be real dangerous for a sign like Virgo, who is notorious for giving. It's not your responsibility to fix anything. Sometimes I think it is our responsibility to be honest with people. That's totally coming from an earth sign, though. To be honest with people when they screw up. But I don't want to see you turning around and start trying to make it better. This is a self-sacrificial Piscean quality if it manifests negatively. Hopefully it doesn't. Just be aware of it. If you find yourself being harsh with someone and then working overtime to try to make them feel better, you're kind of doing it in a 5 of Swords way and like just stop already. Just, you know, Tower moment and then let the fallout happen the way it needs to happen. Let's see what else. Okay, 8 of Swords. There may come a pause after the Tower where you feel like you're holding your breath, asking yourself, did I make the wrong decision? Did I do the wrong thing? No, you did not. You definitely did not. The Queen of Swords with the Empress in this energy, with this vibe, like it's too intuitive, and you being such a highly intuitive sign anyway, it's way too intuitive. So your guides, your intuition are definitely on point. So don't second guess yourself. There's no reason that you need to kind of dwell in this doubt. You don't need to let your fear and your insecurities get the best of you. On the other hand, I also don't want to see you guys becoming bitter and keeping people out, keeping people away, keeping walls between you and people, especially if this Knight of Cups is a lovely, romantic friend, lover person who just really wants to like get to know you. The Knight of Cups is not the Emperor. Okay, you need to be cognizant that you're not projecting your experience with the Emperor onto the Knight of Cups people. Could be multiple people here, the Knight of Cups, you know, just because one person pushed you to a Tower moment, because we know that Virgo can get snappy, like we know that, but we also know that if you get a blowout from a Virgo, like a full-on freak out session, they were provoked. Right? It's an earth sign. You have to really, really, really provoke an earth sign to get to that blow up energy. So like we know that you were provoked to the Tower moment. So, but again, That stuff has nothing to do with the Knight of Cups people. So you could be keeping out good people if you allow your fears and kind of bitterness or cynicism or whatever kind of get the best of you. There's potential for that. There's potential. But if you're aware, you can just open your heart, you know. Good things are really coming. Whether this card comes out upright or reversed, for me, it doesn't matter. It still means prosperity. Good things coming, money included, love included. You may just need to exhibit a little bit of patience. I don't see prolonged periods of healing. I think a lot of that already kind of happened earlier in the year. So now it's more about going and having more life experience that you're going to need to heal from in the future, right? Hopefully not. But to go out and to get more life experience. And I think you feel ready. You feel ready to conquer new kind of mountains, conquer new kind of ventures, endeavors. That's the word I was looking for. And I think you feel optimistic, let's say cautiously optimistic, okay, about where things could potentially go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put the camera down. I have a new little setup, so give me just a minute. I'll flip views and we'll pull the rest of the cards, all right? Okay, you guys, so hopefully the setup's a little bit better, a better view of the cards. I'm going to pull out a couple more like we always do. This is from the 8 Coins Tattoo Tarot deck, which I just barely bought, and I think I'm going to use it for like the main set of 9 next month because it's my birthday month and I want to shake it up a little bit. Something fun. Okay, so what else does Virgo need to know here? Ooh, 3 of Cups. Okay, 3 of Wands, 3 of Cups. It's a story of abundance and enjoyment. And again, a romantic quality as well that comes through with the candlelight you can see there. I think you're just ready for something really special. King of Wands. Okay, so maybe you're ready for a King of Wands. Maybe you're tired of someone who is so serious and so rigid like an emperor. Someone who's seeming right with his armor on underneath and the heart upside down. Maybe he feels or seems, or he or she seems so impenetrable, even with your sword and even with your kindness. It's like either way, maybe you can't quite win, you can't quite get in. But here maybe is someone who is a little bit more just willing to enjoy life and a lot less guarded and a lot less more fun. And in a way, they might also bring out the King of Energy in you, where you start feeling more zestful toward life. Because I suspect that on some level, with your back turned to the Emperor here, that you were feeling like you had to be protective. Maybe you were supportive in a practical way, in a worldly kind of way, but like still romantically or energetically or emotionally, there was like clash. You couldn't get deeper with this person, or things couldn't sink in. And so now I think that you're just ready for someone, like your whole vibe is shifting, which means this person has space to come in. And also, like I said before, it's space for you to be more King of Wands-like or more Leo-like as well. Someone who can be more passionate and more confident and empowered, where I think on some level this person kind of makes you feel less than. And that's not a good space for Virgo. Anybody. It's not a good space for anybody to feel like you have to live up to a certain, almost maybe even impossible standard. You know, like that's not fair. This is someone who would be more, like, loves you for everything you are, right? Okay, I have this Untethered Soul deck, too, that I just got. So there's little quotes from the book on here. So let's see what comes through for us here. The Tao is in the middle. It's the place where there is no energy pushing in either direction. See, and that's why I kind of like these two things coming together, is it feels almost effortless, because truth is truth is truth. There's no agenda here. It's not that you're trying to create the tower moment. It's that a tower moment needs to happen because maybe there was a buildup of energy. This is a release of energy, which is one of the most truthful things that we as human beings like really go through. And even if there's maybe a little blow up, the fact that there's no judgment of like, I don't care if this works out or not, I'm just going to keep my focus moving forward. That seems to be the most Buddha-esque kind of thing. Like, however this person handles the tower, that's on them. You know, I don't think there's any malicious intent on part of Virgo, right? I really, really don't. Or if it's flip-flop story for you, there's no malicious intent from the other party. It's just simply a truth needed to come out. That's why you shouldn't get so angry or defensive about it. Or they shouldn't. No one should. Because if you get angry and defensive about it, then you're just simply getting angry and defensive, right? There's no energy pushing in either direction. Just let it happen, right? It doesn't really change anything, you know? It doesn't really. All right, let's take one from the Wisdom deck, or the Wisdom Oracle here. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to get that one. Okay. Breathe. Yes, breathe. That's always a good suggestion. Anyway, just breathe. It's about, I think this is actually a like if you look at whatever circumstance you're in and the connection, because we know that breathing, the process of breathing is such a spiritual, I mean, everything's spiritual, but it's almost as though everything we need to know about life, we learn from paying attention to our breath. The influx and the outflux and the cycles, right? Our body is the epitome of cycles upon cycles upon cycles. And the breath cycle is one of the most obvious. And when we start paying attention to the inflow and the outflow, I think what's happening now is a very major outflow, because you've reached the pinnacle of the inhale and it's got to break. Like, you have to let that air go. And so with Mercury coming into Leo, connecting with the sun and connecting with Mars, there's going to be, it's just like you can't have it any other way. Like, you're going to have to say it. You're just going to have to. There has to be that release of energy. And like I said, it just is what it is. Okay, now let's go ahead and get clarifiers for everything. Let's go ahead and start pulling out. Now these cards are for the comprehensive. Whoops. If you want to join us, not ready for that yet. Hold on. If you want to join us, the link will be down below in the description box. But I'm just going to go ahead and pull them out here so you can see what we're going to talk about. We talk for another 20 to 25 minutes in the comprehensive. So the story continues. And sometimes it can take kind of an interesting turn. So we'll see what comes out. Okay, Ace of Swords. Okay, Virgo. Page of Pentacles. Five of Coins. One more maybe for that one, yeah? Ooh, Eight of Swords again. See, the Ace of Swords had to happen because the Eight of Swords cannot sustain itself. It just simply can't. There always comes a breaking point with that kind of stuff. Ooh, what did I just say, right? King of Swords and the Emperor. So yeah, definitely the King of Swords and the Emperor. The Tower has to do with them. The other person. I don't think they see it coming even. They're just kind of walking around so innocent. There's a very clear distinction between masculine and feminine here. You're taking on the feminine, they're taking on the masculine. The creator of the Tower, yeah. Expect a period of silence after the Tower, guys. Don't expect resolution right away. Oop, there it is. Secrets coming out. Yep, swift communication toward the Emperor. Validation that the message was on point, okay? Validation for me as a reader. So you just set yourself free, man. It's so great. Ooh, okay, so there's a connection here. You might soften them up a little bit. They see you. Okay, here they are seeing you. You perceive them. I don't think you have any idea how much your opinion means to them. So that's the thing, is when the tower thing happens, you're gonna get crickets, like silence, probably. Like they're gonna go hermit mode. But they're looking at you though. That's why I really don't think you can't make any judgments right away about how this person is gonna feel or how they're gonna perceive everything, because they need a lot of time to like come around to like, yeah, okay, Virgo, you were right. They're gonna go silent. They're gonna go into the dark for a while. Yeah. See, the whole thing is, you gotta do what you gotta do. You have to say the things for you, not for them. The problem is that I know you don't want to really move on, right? I know you don't want to leave this person in the wind. You don't want to completely abandon everything you built. You don't want to leave anybody high and dry. There's still like that faith that it's going to weirdly work out somehow. I don't necessarily see anyone really moving on entirely, but I do see people moving on and doing their own thing, right? Pull one for the Three of Cups. Yes, I know I do pull a lot of cards, but stories develop. Oh, two more came out. Okay. One more for the Breathe card. Hierophant reversed. Interesting. Because this whole thing is going to shake you up a little bit. It doesn't need to. So all you have to really do is just recognize that you're being a little shook up. Okay? Just recognize, just be aware how it's affecting you. You don't need to act on it. Okay? All right, this is going to be a kind of a test of your spiritual maturity, right? If this is like a family member, it might be even that much more challenging to be that enlightened, you know? How enlightened are you really? Let's start interacting with people. It's all well and good when you're in your house meditating, but when you actually start interacting with people, sometimes your enlightenment can just like fly out the window. So let's go ahead and see how this story develops in the comprehensive. All right, you guys? Thank you so much. Hope to see you on the website, but if not, have an excellent Leo season, and I'll see you next month. Take care.